Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Antonio from Still Point Ayurveda in Philadelphia, and today's topic is going to be about seasonal allergies. And because this is that time of year when seasonal allergies start to express themselves, and will continue to express themselves until the summertime, and for some people, through the summertime. And we'll talk about that point when it's summer. And so, right now, as we're transitioning into spring, and people are getting the itchies and the scratchies and the drippies and the congestion and things like that. Ayurveda has a lot to say about seasonal allergies, and this goes for pretty much every condition. It starts from the inside out. And you might say, well, that pollen in the atmosphere is from the outside in and having that effect, of course. But if the body, which is like a home, is well lubricated, well maintained, well established, and healthy, then the likelihood of such things will have a minimal to almost no impact. And with Ayurveda, there's very deep understanding in the root of the system that health is based on history. The body is a historical system. And so if you start to have allergies today, Ayurveda will say, well, let's look at what the fall and winter months were like with diet. How has it affected your immunity? How's your metabolic capacity, your own digestive functioning influencing your health today? Because what you did last week, what you did last month, what you did several months ago will catch up to you in the present moment and in the future. This is just the way the body works. It's cumulative. And so, just because you jump on a healthy regimen today and think you're going to undo everything from the past immediately, it does not work that way. The body is more complex that way. But when you finally get into alignment, though, with the seasons and the practices of the daily cycles and understanding your constitution and understanding your metabolic capacity, your ability to digest, what your digestion is like, when you understand all that and you get into the rhythm of all that, then you can sort of hover within this natural plane of health, svasta in Ayurveda. And so, knowing what you're doing to contribute to your health ill health is essential. And so, when you're having seasonal allergies in Ayurveda, we want to assess whether it's more in a category of dryness. Is there an inflammatory process that triggered it? Is there a congestive process that has triggered it? So, if a person is prone to dryness and eating dry foods and cold foods during a cold season, then of course you will have allergies. This has been time tested in Ayurveda. Cause and effect. Karya Kavana. Karya Karana. And so if you're doing that as a lifestyle based on your constitution, then you will have the dryness. And then you will blame yourself and wonder what's wrong. And then the atmosphere, when it starts to release or have the release of the pollen, will affect the sinuses because that's one of the primary places where the allergens can infiltrate. So if the sinuses are properly coated, then they will trap things and you can expel things and you will have minimal effect from the allergies. And if your whole body is dry, your skin is dry, your mouth is dry, your sleep is poor, digestion is poor, then of course these are all things that are going to add up. If you're eating lots of hot, spicy foods as a person that is prone to dryness and allergies, hot, spicy, pungent spices, not good. You can fight me on it, and it's fine, but I'm just the messenger of a system of medicine that's established in science for thousands of years, saying people that are prone to dryness and prone towards vata tendencies, hot, spicy is the worst thing amongst many other practices, but it's not good. You want warming spices. For the person that's more prone towards the inflammatory process, and that person might be indulging in staying up late also, and having lots of tomatoes and alcohol and pushing themselves every day with extreme practices of work and exercise and things like that, you're creating not only dryness to some degree but also inflammation. So people that have allergies of this kind will have more of like the bloody noses, the congestion, the sinusitis. And it's not that the primary person of vata can't produce sinusitis. It's just more typical in a person that has more pitta tendencies to have that type of sinusitis. And a kapha person also, because to some degree, all the doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha, are affected when any kind of condition is evolving. It's just the extent, the ratio, the proportion that is determined. And going into kapha, understanding, the kapha person will have just the mucus, the ongoing drippiness, the congestion in the chest, which could eventually develop into a cold and or asthma. And as a side note, Vata has its own type of asthma, which is more based in dryness, and Kapha has more of a wet, kind of heavy Kapha producing asthma. Different qualities, treatments are different. And so understanding seasonal allergies is based on what your digestion is like, your metabolic capacity, your abilities to process food, your immunity, understanding what your type is, understanding what you've been doing to invest in your health in the past previous months to affect this current season, because one season affects the next season. This is how it just rotates through the clock. One season affects the next season. And you might not notice in the present season what you're doing until the following season. So if you can start making that relationship known to yourself, having the awareness going back in time and saying, that's what I did or indulged in or didn't do properly, and now I'm reaping the results of those ill practices. So Ayurveda is really amazing at helping to regain, reestablish homeostasis within this home first, the body, and then within the home context, and then within the context of community, so on and so forth, or within the season, because that's the home for that period of time of what the season is going to have its effect as. So if you're struggling with seasonal allergies or starting to wonder about your seasonal allergies and when they're going to kick in, because you know this time of year they're going to kick in, these are things to consider. Now, Western medicine, there are lots of over-the-counter medications and formulas that you can get. And again, Ayurveda says those formulas can be amazing, but are they for the right person? Because if a person is having a simple post-nasal drip because they suffer from dryness, the problem is not the post-nasal drip. The problem is the dryness that's forcing the body to produce the post-nasal drip. So if you're doing something that's like an antihistamine, to work on reducing that, reaction which is produced through the post-nasal effect, you're only increasing it, and you might have a temporary resolve, but then this is also going to spill into the next season. And then what symptoms do you have then? Do you have hives? Do you have any kind of rashes? Do you have any kind of actual aggravation of sleep? Again, karya karana, cause and effect. What we do today can affect us tomorrow. And if it's the right over-the-counter, then of course, then it has a minimal effect. It produces a positive health outcome, and you don't have to worry about it because it's doing what it's supposed to do as a medicine. But synthetic medications don't always have that predictable capacity. This is where Ayurveda comes in and determines which ones might work best for which person. And this goes with herbs. And this goes with different types of treatments like the neti pot. There's no one-size-fits-all in Ayurveda. Some people should do the neti pot during allergy season. Some people should not. Some people would benefit from certain herbs versus some people not benefiting from those same herbs. There are different types of medicated oils to support the immunization of the sinuses. And so on and so forth. And it requires a individualized protocol approach. There's no one size fits all. It's hard to consider a quick fix because when ill health starts to produce issues, depending on what level you're at, it's harder to work with the more it progresses, right? So in the beginning, if you catch it, then you can immediately look within the past couple days, couple weeks, what are you doing to help this situation get better or worse? So it really is on you. It's the right choices, and your body will thank you for it when you pay more attention to it, and it produces symptoms for you to pay attention to it more. So I can continue this topic next week, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me. And if you would like to work with me, I'm always taking on new patients, and I love working with people, and seasonal allergies can be easily addressed with the right protocols in place for the right person and the right level of discipline and commitment to the process. It's a two-way street. I do my part, you do your part, and we come together, and at the end result is you feel good, and then you won't be complaining about drippies and coffees and, snotties. So anyways, happy Monday, and remember that I'm also doing a yoga practice on Zoom Tuesdays and Friday mornings at 8 a.m. I look forward to hearing from you. Have an amazing day and rest of your week.